Would you like to make brownies that make your family go wow? Well, I have the homemade brownie recipe for you. My name's Javen Finneman, and today I'll be teaching you how to make homemade brownies. Now we're going to start with 1 cup of melted butter, 2.5 cups of granulated sugar, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1.5 cups of flour, and 1 cup of cocoa powder along with 4 eggs. Now you're going to start with pouring your sugar into your melted butter and slowly mixing it in. Now when I bake, I like to add all of my ingredients into separate containers. That way it's a lot easier because you already have everything set out and it's all ready to be put in the bowl and mixed. And you don't have to worry about accidentally skipping a step or missing any ingredients along the way, because if you've ever baked, you know that there's a lot of times that people tend to mess up and leave out stuff like sugar or flour, which is a very, very big thing when you're cooking with your ingredients. Now I like to make stuff like brownies when I go to family gatherings. I have a big family, so it's nice to be able to have a nice dessert to bring to like Christmas or something like that. And I like to use a large mixing bowl to mix and a spatula to mix everything up with. Now we're going to add our 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract into our mixture and go ahead and fold that in and mix it all well together so that it is all combined. Now after this, we're going to go ahead and add our eggs. Usually you would add your eggs at 1 at a time. However, we have a little bit of a time crunch today, so we're going to be adding them in all together. And you'll have a thick consistency mixture like this. Now I'm going to go ahead and start adding my eggs. We'll try to add 2 at a time and then go ahead and mix those in. And I tend to have a sweeter tooth for chocolate. I don't really eat sugary things very often, but I love to have chocolate, so chocolate brownies is one of my favorite things to make because I really enjoy to eat it. However, I do have a shoulder injury, so it's a little bit more difficult for me to do stuff in the kitchen without help, and unfortunately my family's not here today to help, so I will be attempting to do this on my own. We're going to go ahead and add our other 2 eggs right into the bowl. It's a little bit hard for you to bake if you don't really have experience with baking, but I tend to go online to find stuff like on Yumly.com, or to have like recipes from somebody that likes to post online like Pinterest. I spent most of my life bouncing around between school and sports, so I never really had time to be home. My family never really cooked all together. If dinner was done, it was done by the time I had already gotten home from all my activities. So I didn't really have the chance to be into the kitchen until I got a little bit older, which is totally fine, but it just it's very enjoyable pastime for me to do now that I have time to be able to be in the kitchen. Now, after your egg mixture is all mixed in, it'll be a little bit less of a tough consistency than it was before. We're going to go ahead and add our 1.5 cups of flour. And we're going to put it in a little bit at a time, just so that we're not splashing it all over the place, because if you put too much flour in all at once, your flour will be all over yourself, along with any other powdered ingredients when you're adding them in. I'm going to add a little bit more. I really enjoy baking now that I'm older. I don't think that I really cared for it as much when I was younger. I did like to help my grandma in the kitchen whenever I could when I was little, but as you get older, I think there's some things that you just find a bit more of appreciation for, and who wants to make box brownies when you can learn how to make homemade brownies? My family is a very big family, so we did grow up only doing things that were quick in the kitchen, like pasta or like something that's out of a box. But now that I'm older and can bake for my family, I like to find the different recipes that you can make online and see how much my little sisters absolutely love it whenever they eat it, because we just don't have the time for it. Now, I do enjoy cooking with my siblings. However, it does get difficult sometimes when they're all in the kitchen because I have too many of them. But that's all right. They are all off at school right now doing different things. My little sister is actually at her science fair today. She actually did a project with lollipops to see what they would dissolve in quicker. And that is currently why I am home alone. And my other younger sister is off at school too. And here I am baking brownies. As a kid, I was actually a competitive dancer for 16 years, from when I was 2 all the way up until when I was graduated from high school. I just recently stopped dancing due to my shoulder injury. However, I still have that as a very big passion in my life. But instead of dancing, I took up stuff like baking and other hobbies that could keep me going because I don't really have very much of a fast pace anymore. Now we're going to go ahead and add our 1 cup of cocoa powder and mix that right in. And then we're also going to add our 1 teaspoon of salt. Now with this recipe, you can either use unsalted butter and add your salt in, or you can go ahead and use salted butter and omit the salt. And you can also add stuff like chocolate chips or other things into your recipe. That way you have more chocolate in them if that's what you choose to do, or you can add like peanut butter. And with the cocoa powder, that's what gives it that chocolatey flavor and gives it that wonderful brown look, and it just makes it look so much more delicious. And as you're mixing, you'll get a thick, tougher consistency into your pan. And then you're going to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. You're going to cook it at 350 for about 20 to 30 minutes. And then you're going to stick a toothpick in the top of it to see if it has been finished. And as soon as you do that, you can remove it from the oven if there's no cake-like batter consistency that is still on your toothpick. And you can also garnish off the top with melted chocolate chips if that's what you choose to do, or you can just keep it how it is. Now with this, you're going to want to go ahead and have a 9x13 pan and spray it with either Pam or cooking butter, or you're going to go ahead and rub butter on it. Now unfortunately, since I have a shoulder injury, I cannot pick up my batter to put it in there, so I'm going to slide this off to the side and go ahead and grab my other one from the oven and show you the finished product of my brownies. Now as you can see, I have put little holes in the top, which is where I put my toothpick. And these homemade brownies were made with 1 cup of melted butter, 2.5 cups granulated sugar, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, 4 eggs, 1.5 cups of flour, and 1 cup of cocoa powder. And that is how you make chocolate brownies that will make your family absolutely go crazy. I hope you like to try this recipe. Thank you for watching. Bye.